gather here today in Ottawa on unceded Anishinaabe territory. Ahead of the upcoming federal budget, this press conference calls for urgent federal action on infrastructure. Here at the FCM, press conference with us, Rebecca Bligh, President of FCM and Vancouver Councillor, Tim Tierney, FCM First Vice President and Ottawa Councillor, Kathy Valentino, FCM Second Vice President and Thompson Councillor, et dernièrement, Michelle Boileau, Présidente du réseau francophone de la FCM et mairesse de Timmins. Rebecca, over to you.
Thank you very much, Olivier, and hello and welcome everyone. I'm Rebecca Bligh, President of the Federation of Canadian Municipalities and also a proud City Councillor in the beautiful city of Vancouver. Thank you all for being here as we wrap up FCM's Advocacy Days here in Ottawa. So we're going to jump right into it. Over the past few months, the federal government has talked a lot about building Canada strong, and this is welcome news to FCM. Our country needs to be strengthened if we're going to overcome the immense challenges we face right now. Everything from a trade war with the US and a shifting global landscape to a severe housing crisis and relentless climate disasters. Over the past few years, connecting with parliamentarians across party lines, it's clear that while approaches may differ, we share the same vision of a stronger Canada. But here's the truth. This vision hinges on one thing: strong local infrastructure. Municipalities own and operate the core systems that keep Canada running. We're talking roads, systems, transit, emergency services, and right now our communities are dealing with a massive infrastructure deficit to the tune of $270 billion. What does that leave us with? Aging local infrastructure and stalled economic growth. So when the government talks about building big projects, growing the economy, and strengthening our country, it simply can't happen without strong local infrastructure. And that's because municipal infrastructure is the backbone of our economy. Think about it. You can't move goods if local roads and bridges are aging. You can't attract global investment if your key industrial zones don't have proper sewer systems. And you can't secure supply chains if rainstorms are flooding warehouses or transitways. And just last year, a feeder main fractured in Calgary and flooded the streets. And this exposed the major consequences of federal underfunding in long-term climate-resilient infrastructure. Still, Calgary responded quickly and effectively to address the problem for their residents. So when it comes to delivering for our communities, municipalities are engaged and ready, but Canada's local governments can't do it alone. And that's why, as the national voice of municipalities across the country, FCM is calling on the federal government to take action in three important ways. First, at least double the Canada Community Building Fund to and index it linked to GDP. As Canada grows, so should the funding that supports our communities. And by linking CCBF to Canada's GDP, we can upgrade our infrastructure, build housing, and grow the economy. Second, modernize Canada's infrastructure plan. The current Investing in Canada infrastructure program is oversubscribed and ends in just a few years. Building for Canada's next generation of infrastructure projects will take time, so we need a successor program now to allow municipalities to plan, build, and deliver for their communities. And this updated plan should include targeted investments in rural, northern, and Arctic infrastructure to support local economies and protect Canada's sovereignty. And finally, we need to protect the essential municipal programs that communities rely on. Programs like the Canada Public Transit Fund, Reaching Home, the Interim Housing Assistance. These are all critical in connecting our towns and cities, tackling homelessness, and supporting newcomers, and they must be maintained. So to the federal government, you can't build big without strong local infrastructure. Let's work together and get big things done for Canadians. And now I'll pass it over to my colleague, Tim Tierney, First Vice President of FCM and a City Councillor right here in Ottawa. And he'll talk a little bit more about the importance of housing as we build Canada strong. Tim, take it away.
Great. Thank you very much, President Bligh. Clearly, housing is something here in Ottawa I am very passionate about, but we also see this across the entire country. First of all, we don't have to really tell you how important it is to have a roof over your head. Strong, stable communities depend on having a place to call home. I've been honored to represent the people of Beacon Hill-Surville, dans the ville d'Ottawa, for 15 years, and I can tell you right now, the housing affordability crisis is at an all-time high, and Canadians are feeling it from coast to coast to coast. This is something that has made a big difference when we talk about community-based programs like Reaching Home to improve access for families that are vulnerable residents. And while municipalities work around the clock to free up land, build non-market housing, and increase zoning density and speed up permits, we are all still getting hit very hard. It's not for a lack of work on our part as municipalities, it's the lack of tools. In Ottawa, for example, we're trying to get ahead of the creation of hundreds of new affordable housing units, but reports show that the high infrastructure costs are slowing down our progress. Communities can grow and build 500,000 new homes without the proper infrastructure to go along with them. When you think of roads, bridges, water systems, transit, emergency services, you can only ask in my community, or any community for that matter, it'd be nice to have, but they are also essential to go along with whatever we build. From a local infrastructure foundation building to Canada Strong, if we upgrade the surrounding infrastructure that's needed to create thriving communities, frankly, the government housing targets won't be met at the current rate. So let's do this together. With the right federal tools, like the Canada Community Building Fund and a nationwide infrastructure plan, the renewed commitment of community programs like Reaching Home, we could fix the housing crisis and help our economy to thrive. Thanks, everyone. Now I'd like to invite my colleague, Kathy Valentino, Second Vice President of FCM, and also the councillor in Thompson, Manitoba. Kathy.
Thank you very much, and good afternoon, everyone. So Tim is exactly right. Building Canada strong starts with strong communities. And when we talk about helping our communities thrive, it's vital that we are going to include the remote, rural, and northern communities, one like mine in Thompson, Manitoba, northern Manitoba. Because let me tell you, rural Canada, we punch way above its weight when it comes to positive impact on this country. Our rural communities make up just 15% of the population, but we are managing 36% of the core infrastructure. We also support sectors that contribute nearly $200 billion to this country's economy. So simply put, our nation's economic growth runs through rural Canada. Unfortunately, it's got to be said that Canada is being held back because our small communities are lacking support. Inadequate transit routes and insufficient infrastructure are placing immense financial strain on rural communities. This is not how you build a stronger Canada. Let's take the Port of Churchill, for example, which is clearly close to where I live. It's perfectly positioned to play a major role in the government's nation-building agenda. However, there's only one highway to Thompson, and there's one railway in and out of the port. Access for people, goods, and services is very limited. If we truly want to build big, we need strong rural infrastructure to help make this happen. So it comes down to this. When rural communities thrive, so does our country. And that's why FCM is calling on the government to increase the Canada Community Building Fund and release a modernized national infrastructure plan. And by doing this, the federal government can unleash diverse trade opportunities, strengthen our national defense, and boost economic prosperity. The folks in my city of Thompson and local leaders and municipalities across the country are knowledgeable partners. We know what our residents need and how to make it happen. Now, we need that partner in Ottawa who will listen to us, our expertise, and is willing to match our ambition. Thank you very much, and I'm going to pass it over to Michelle Boileau, Mayor of the City of Timmins and a member of our FCM board.
Merci, Kathy. Bonjour à toutes et à tous. Je m'appelle Michelle Boileau. Je suis la maire de la ville de Timmins, dans le nord de l'Ontario. Je fais partie du conseil d'administration de la FCM et j'ai le privilège de présider leur réseau francophone. Merci d'être avec nous aujourd'hui alors qu'on conclut les journées de représentation des intérêts de 2025. Au cours des derniers mois, le gouvernement fédéral a annoncé sa volonté à bâtir un Canada plus fort. La vision d'Ottawa s'inscrit dans les priorités des municipalités membres de la FCM. Pour faire face à l'incertitude économique, la guerre commerciale et la crise du logement, on doit renforcer nos pays. Mais cette vision repose sur un élément essentiel, des infrastructures fiables. Le gouvernement de proximité sont responsables de maintenir et d'entretenir la majorité des infrastructures qui soutiennent le bon fonctionnement du pays, les routes, les ponts, les systèmes d'égouts et d'eau potable, les réseaux de transport collectif et j'en passe. Pourtant, à l'heure actuelle, nos municipalités doivent composer avec un déficit d'infrastructures de 270 milliards de dollars. Qu'est-ce que ça veut donc dire pour nos municipalités? Des infrastructures vieillissantes et une croissance économique mise sur pause. Pensons-y un instant. Comment va-t-on pouvoir intensifier le transport de marchandises si les routes et les ponts sont en mauvais état? Et comment va-t-on pouvoir attirer des investissements internationaux si les principales zones industrielles ne sont pas bien desservies par les systèmes d'égouts? Et comment va-t-on pouvoir sécuriser les chaînes d'approvisionnement si les entrepôts et les voies ferrées sont inondés à chaque épisode de pluie abondante? Donc, quand le gouvernement parle des grands projets, de relance économique et de résilience, tout ça commence par des infrastructures locales de qualité. C'est pour ça que la FCM demande au gouvernement fédéral d'agir sur 3 fronts. Premièrement, il faut doubler au minimum le Fonds pour le développement des collectivités du Canada et l'indexer au PIB. C'est le moyen le plus rentable et efficace pour renouveler les infrastructures et atteindre les objectifs de construction de logements. Deuxièmement, il faut créer un programme pour remplacer le programme d'infrastructure Investir dans le Canada, pour créer la prochaine génération des infrastructures, qui doit aussi inclure des investissements ciblés pour les régions rurales, nordiques et éloignées. Et troisièmement, il faut protéger les programmes essentiels pour nos municipalités, comme le Fonds pour le transport en commun du Canada, le Vers un chez-soi, ainsi que l'aide au logement provisoire. Ce sont tous des programmes cruciaux pour la mobilité, la lutte contre l'itinérance et l'accueil des nouveaux arrivants. Les municipalités sont prêtes à construire les infrastructures qui soutiennent notre économie, rendent le logement possible et facilitent le déplacement des gens et des marchandises d'un océan à l'autre. Elles sont déjà à l'œuvre, mais elles ne veulent pas y arriver seules. Un partenariat fort avec le gouvernement fédéral est essentiel pour renforcer l'économie à long terme. Et au gouvernement fédéral, nous disons ceci. Vous ne pouvez pas bâtir grand sans bâtir local. Travaillons ensemble pour s'assurer de livrer des résultats concrets pour la population canadienne. Merci.
Close the press conference. Ceci met fin à la conférence de presse. Merci tout le monde.
Thank you very much, everybody. Good on, merci.